Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Morgan Cook with Positively Osceola here for Positively Osceola's Daybreak Live. So excited to be coming to you today. We have a very special guest. We have Linda Gruszynski with us this morning, and she is with Draper Law Office. As you guys know, Draper Law Office is a critical part right here in Osceola County. They are a long-standing law firm that we have right here in our community. They go above and beyond when it comes to helping their clients. So always such a joy to have them joining us as we continue on with our Daybreak segment. So excited for today's segment. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button. Let me know in the comment section who we have with us. Go ahead and grab you a cup of coffee, and it's going to be a great day today with our Daybreak. So be sure to join us. I'm very excited. Be sure, like I said, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button. Let me know in the comment section who we have with us as we get started with our Daybreak Live. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, a wonderful week, and you continue to have a great week as well. Like I said, I can't say enough how excited I am. This topic that we're going to be discussing is so very important, especially for certain family members. So be sure to hit the share button because you never know who might come across this video and who needs to hear the information we are going to be sharing. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with our Daybreak Live. Alrighty, so at this time, very excited, like I said, to welcome our special guest. This is Miss Linda Gruszynski. Very excited to have her with us this morning. Good morning, Miss Linda. How are you doing?
Good morning, Morgan. Very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know over there at Draper Law Office, you guys are always busy, and you guys are a long-standing part of our community here in Osceola County, especially here in Kissimmee. So we're so thankful to have you a part of our show this morning on our Daybreak Live. But maybe, just maybe, if someone's not familiar with Draper Law Office, go ahead and tell us what Draper Law Office is all about and the law firms that y'all practice in.
Absolutely. Thank you. And congratulations on the pronunciation of my name. Draper Law Office has been here since 1984. Charlie Draper and his wife, Carol, established the office back then, and they practiced together. Ultimately, Carol was a judge, and she retired a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But Charlie practices in personal injury, and my area of practice is solely family and domestic relations.
Mm-hmm.
So assisting people with divorce, paternity, all those types of issues.
Yes, ma'am. It's no doubt that such a tragedy for a family to go through is separation or divorce. And it's such a hard topic that, you are faced with day after day. But it's also important that if a family find themselves in that situation, that they know that there is help and there's great attorneys like yourself that over at Draper Law Office to help them. So what is the biggest issue you've seen families go through within the practice of family law?
One of the most sensitive and can be, for lack of a better word, messy issues is when people are getting divorced and they have children. As many times people can agree upon how they will share time with the children and share decision making, that type of thing. When they don't agree, it can become, because it's very emotional. It's a very emotional issue.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of frequently asked questions that you guys get, especially when it comes to family law. So we thought it would be important to provide those answers for our viewers if they are, maybe find themselves asking themselves these questions if they are in that situation themselves. So the first question is, when people are divorcing, at what age can kids decide with whom they want to live?
Okay, I get that question quite often, and the answer, the short answer is 18. Under the law and the position of the courts, and by virtue of the courts of the state, the parents are to make decisions together regarding the best interests of their kids. And the kids are not to, because if you think about it, it's very divisive. Okay, Johnny, sit here. Now, which one of us do you want to live with?
Right.
What a horrible situation. Even if a child feels strongly about going with one parent or the other, they most of the time do not want to hurt the other parent, hurt their feelings. And it's a very, very tough situation to put kids in. So they should not be asked who they want to live with. But there are exceptions where, and we can get into that also, but where the court will take into consideration the desires of the kids, but they have to be of a certain age and maturity, which is different for all kids.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if someone was to ask the question, my kids want to testify, so can we add them to the witness list? I feel like this is, a big question, but a very sensitive question at that. So if someone was to ask you that as a client, how would you respond to them?
Okay, my first reaction, and I try to temper it, but my first response is, why do you want to bring your kids into this? It's litigation. Yes, it's a divorce, but it's one parent suing the other, and we want to bring the child in and give us your position as to X, Y, and Z, whatever the issues are. So, there needs to be a very good reason as to why you want to bring a child into the litigation, because your job as the parent is to be shielding them and not involving them in something so contentious as litigation between their own parents. But there are you have to file a request with the court asking that the child be permitted to testify. It's a motion for child testimony. And you can argue the issue if there's opposing counsel or if the other, regardless of whether the other side is represented, but you have to make your case to the judge as to why the child is needed.
Right.
Is there other evidence that will allow the court to decide the best interests of the child without bringing the child in? And then if the judge does decide, okay, I think the child's perspective on these, and they'll narrow down the issues. It's not just going to be the whole, these 1, 2, or 3 issues that you bring to the court. The judge then, if the judge decides it's appropriate to get the child's point of view, he or she will bring the child in. It used to be in chambers, now everything's virtual, but bring the child in virtually or at the courthouse and have a conversation. The child will not be questioned by attorneys or parents. So the judge will have a conversation and do it in a friendlier how is it going? Do you have any interests? How many friends? Kind of get around to it. Right. So not a drilling. And the attorneys or the parties, if they don't have counsel, are not permitted to ask any questions. You just observe. And the court reporter will be there to take down the testimony so that you can get a transcript later. But that is the way that a child will, quote unquote, testify. But the judge does have to decide that whether they're at a maturity level to be able to do that sort of thing. So we're not going to bring in to talk about what's going on in the house.
Right, absolutely. And I could only imagine, like you said, such a sensitive and so much emotion within those topics and those questions within itself. But, you have to think there is children involved, and, family might be separated and you're still a family. So you have to put the kids first.
Kids are not getting divorced. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Now, if someone was to ask, I want sole custody, can I get it? How is that question answered? Because I feel like that could be very difficult, going into that kind of answer. So,
well, the way I begin to explain it is that parenting, when two people have a child, their right, the starting position from the court's point of view, is they have a constitutional right to parent that child. So that it's not just a statute, it's not something developed through case law, it's Constitution, big time. So it makes it more difficult for one of the parents to say the other parent's rights or time with the child, anything like that, should be limited or constrained. You've got to have good reasons. The other parent's incarcerated for a long time. The other parent's a convicted pedophile. And there can be situations if a parent has total lack of participation. Unfortunately, that does happen. Something like that. So I give extreme examples, but the point being, sole custody is quite rare. But the focus of the court's always going to be on the best interest, what's in these kids' best interests. Right. And so, as kind of a sidebar here, the court, the laws changed and the language regarding parenting of children when it comes to divorce or paternity for that matter, it is not so much custody. It used to be primary custody and that type of thing. And people were holding it, and one parent was holding it over the other parent when they were given, primary custody. They say, well, I'm primary custody, so this is how it's going to go. And so they figured if they changed the language to not custody, but time sharing, that people would behave better, which PS hasn't happened, but yeah. So we don't refer so much to custody anymore. But yeah, if a parent is totally absent or is gone, or if it would be harmful for the kids for that other parent to be in their lives and parent them, then there could be some restrictions. But you have to have evidence.
Right. And I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about it's all about the best interest of that child. And, on the topic of that, another question that you guys are frequently asked, and the last question we're going to discuss that's asked is, shouldn't I be honest with my kids and let them know what's happening in the case? And I feel like this is a very touchy one because, you want to be honest with your kids, but at the same time, how do you go about that? Because you want to be honest with your kids, but also it's not the kids, problem. So how did you answer that?
I agree. And my answer is no. I mean, you don't want to lie. I mean, they're smart, they're perceptive. The older they get, the more they know something's happening and that sort of thing. But I always encourage my clients, try to change your mindset and put yourself in the position of that child. Yeah. If they hear every day, well, today we're going to court on this, and this issue, and this is it's very stressful for them. Sure. If you, on the other hand, ideally, both of you sit down and have the conversation about, we're not going to be living together anymore, but the point being to confirm for them that you both love them unconditionally. Just because the marriage is ending has nothing to do with them, because kids have a unique way of making it their fault, even though, it's not. And just confirming, daddy loves you very much. I love you very much. None of that's going to change. You can almost feel the sigh of relief to have the parents speaking kindly or cordially about the other, even though inside you may be going, it's good for the kids. So it's best, do not let them know, especially on a regular ongoing basis, what's happening in the case. If things are going to change, now we're going to be moving, mommy's getting a house over here, dad's getting an apartment. Certainly explain those things so they know what's coming. But again, always emphasizing with the reassurance that, we both are going to maintain as much continuity for you, the child, as we can. It just, I've counseled with clients who have such a cordial relationship with the former wife or former husband that they and their either new boyfriend or girlfriend or new husband or wife have barbecues and celebrate birthdays together. Right. And it sounds funny, but then again, if you put yourself in the place of the kid, how fun, how nice is that? So not everybody can be expected to do that, but that sure is nice.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to this question, you guys, there's a counseling parent class that you were talking about. Go ahead and touch base about that, because this topic is covered within that counseling.
Yes, absolutely. And it's required by the court. So in any paternity, which establishing a parent's rights to children when they're born outside of a marriage relationship, paternity of the dad has to be established. But in any divorce or what have you, any case involving children, divorce or paternity, the parties are required to take this online parenting course, and I believe it's a few hours long. But you take the course and it teaches and instructs on communication after the parties physically separate, or after divorce, or after case is established, or even during the litigation. And it talks about talking to your kids cordially and politely, talking to the other parent, and parenting plans. And it's these are classes that are approved by the Department of Children and Families. So there are multiple companies who offer these classes, but you just must make sure that they're DCF approved. And then you'll get a certificate upon completion. They'll email it to you, and then you file that in your court case. But it does, I've had people just, because they have to check off that box and get that class done, later on they'll say, I did get some good pointers out of there. I did learn something, which is, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if there's someone joining us this morning and maybe they find themselves in this situation, or maybe they need, help from you guys over at Draper Law Office, or just more details about you, where can they get that information, and how do they get in contact with you?
Well, course, they can give us a call, 407-846-0075. And our office is located, it's a beautiful 1880s home that's been restored. It's lovely, though I don't like working alone at night. I do it, but anyway, it's a beautiful place, but it's right across the street from the courthouse in Kissimmee, and it's 705 West Emmett Street in Kissimmee. But and DraperLawOffice.com, of course, we've got a lot of information online, and just there are many people who will come in regardless of what the issue. If it's personal injury, divorce, paternity. You've already had a judgment entered and somebody's not complying with the judgment, all that kind of thing. Just come in to get information. They're not even necessarily, they don't know what they want to do, but they may be having a dispute with the other person. And before they mouth off or say what they want to do, they want to know, am I right here? Or am I, so it certainly can come in and just get information. And I actually do not encourage people to file a case unless they really know this is what they want to do. Because it is a big deal, but we're happy to help in any way possible. I've been here since January 2nd of 2012. I always say the first working day in 2012. And absolutely love it. It's a family atmosphere. We work together and really, really have our clients' best interests top of mind.
Oh, I can certainly say, just being someone from the community and seeing all the work that Draper Law Office has done over time, you guys care about your clients and you are there solely for the purpose of your clients. And that's something that's so, so special about you guys over at Draper Law Office. So we commend you for all of the success you guys have and all the hard work that you guys do over in your law firm. It's so important. And we really much appreciate it here at Positively Osceola, the positive difference you're making in people's lives, especially when it comes to your practice of law within family law, helping those kids and helping those families for the best interest of those children. So thank you again, Miss Linda, for joining us this morning. If you guys have any information that you are looking to get questions about or answers, be sure to contact Draper Law Office. Contact Miss Linda, wonderful people over at Draper Law Office. They're there to help you. So to sign off this morning, this is Morgan Cook with Positively Osceola here with Miss Linda Gruszynski with the Draper Law Office, and we're making a positive difference in and around Osceola County.